Hello, I want to make this video to show you how you can clean the hose. Earlier videos show you how you can take the faucet apart and this quick connect apart. Just quickly, that's a screwdriver slot, and you unscrew that and all those little guts come out. Just remember how they went out and put them back in the same way. Again, that's another video. This guy right here, the cap just unscrews. Just unscrew it, and then you can clean off real good. But what about the hoses? So I want to show you a trick with these clamps. And so what happens with these is they're really not the clamps in the sense you might remember hose clamps, the kind that you put on loose and you crank them down to tighten them. These are just like metal girdles. And if you grab it this way, not like this, but grab it this way, you can just wiggle it and it comes right down. So the thing is, you see there's barbs, and the only way the hose can come off of these barbs is the hose has to stretch and expand out a little bit. But with this little metal girdle around it, it can't expand, so it can't come off the barbs. So once you have that off, it takes a little bit of work still, but there it is, comes off. Same thing on this side. I'm going to grab it here. Make sure you grab it this way and not like that, because you don't want to crush it. Okay, so right over here like that, I'm going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Down it comes. And then with a little tug, you've got your hose off, and the clamps, save them because you're going to reuse them. Okay, now how do you get inside this thing? Here's my clever invention. Whoops, it just fell on the floor. What I have here is a rather large sewing needle, and this only just going to provide the weight that I need. And to the end of that, I have attached a larger string. Something like yarn would work the best, but I've got a little just thicker cord that will do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this needle through the hose with its thread attached. Try to keep this in frame. It's going to be hard for me to do this in frame, so I'm just going to come outside here where you can't see me and just trust that I'm dropping the needle down through the hose. Got to wiggle it and jiggle it. Just got to wiggle it a little bit. Taking a little more time. You might can hear me wiggling it. So you see the needle in there so far? My needle's so big it's kind of bent at the end, so it doesn't slide very well. I could get a better needle. I probably should get a better one for this purpose. Got one down. Centrifugal force. All right, I got the needle to come out the other end. So now I'm just going to stick this part in. Pull my thread a little bit tighter. And poke you in there. And now that goes real nice. There we go. So now I'm not doing this wet with Star Sand or cleaner or anything, but you can see what I've done here. So now I can just work this through, back and forth, scrubbing it out, get out all the stuff, and then when I'm done, we'll just pull this whole rig right back out again. like that. So there's my big needle with it. It doesn't need to have this giant end on it, which is bent and only made it harder to slide through. I just thought that would be the easiest thing when I grabbed it for the video, but it's overkill, and it didn't just drop right through. Just a big sewing needle without the giant end on it would be better, I think. This is for like leather or something. Anyway, so that's that. I'll put away my scrubbing needles and hoses and ropes, and that brings us back to this. So what we're just going to do is take one of our clamps. We've never done anything to tighten it or loosen it. They just slide on and off, and then I want to put you back on. Oops. And because I thought ahead and put my clamp on the hose in advance, I can just take it. And sometimes I'll use my thumbnail on the other side just a little bit. And then just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And it is back on. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Whoops. This actually does help when you have some soap and water that you're working with, because everything just slides a little easier than doing this dry. Yeah, I'll get that. And we'll wiggle it back on. Just the way it came off. There it is. So that's how you can clean those hoses. And thank you, and we'll enjoy yours, and call me if you need anything. I always aim to please. Bye.